If you ask me what I think about handhelds, I would say that I think that they do more than just play games. They change the way you experience them. Every handheld I've owned has ended up shaping when I play, where I play, and how I play, often in ways I didn't expect. And right now, two devices are defining that choice. The Nintendo Switch 2, a brand new handheld that visits and leaves your desktop. And the Steam Deck OLED, a handheld that thinks it is your desktop. Two very different ideas of what portable gaming should be. The real question is, which is the right one for you? So the Nintendo Switch 2 just released, and for a lot of people, it's the first time in 7 years that handheld gaming has kind of felt exciting again. Maybe you just want it for travel, or maybe you want to be able to just play a game while you're watching reruns of The Office. Or maybe you have an original Switch and it's starting to show signs of age, and it's time to leave it behind and upgrade.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend.
The tricky part is that in the 8 years since the original Switch launched, a lot has happened in the handheld gaming space. Give the Switch credit where it's due, but the Steam Deck exists now too, a handheld that's technically more powerful and flexible. And maybe that has you wondering which one would be a better fit for you. So before we even talk specs or performance, it's worth asking a bigger question. What are these systems actually trying to be? Because that's where the differences really begin. The Steam Deck OLED is a portable PC in the truest sense. It's powerful and incredibly customizable. You can theme it, you can mod it, you can even swap parts if you're savvy enough with a screwdriver. It feels like more than a handheld. It feels alive.
It's alive!
Something that's yours the second you start shaping it. In practice, for me, it's become the everything machine. AAA games, indie games, emulation, streaming services. The deck's got you covered. The Switch 2, on the other hand, takes a different approach. First and foremost, you're buying it for Nintendo's first-party lineup. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Donkey Kong, the list goes on. Some of the most universally recognized and loved games ever made that you won't find officially anywhere else. At least not if Nintendo has anything to say about it. They're polished, approachable, and designed to run seamlessly on the hardware that it's made for. You just turn it on and you're already playing. In other words, just the way Nintendo... Nintended? Oh, come on. It's kind of like a board game. You open the box, you read the rules, and you get your friends and you start playing. And that difference shows up in everyday life. The Switch is designed to include everyone. Joy-Cons mean instant couch co-op, and assuming they don't throw it through your TV, it's the easiest thing to hand to a kid. The deck, meanwhile, is more personal. I've always kind of likened it to the adult's handheld. For the most part, I think that it assumes you want control to manage a library, tweak settings, and tinker. If the Switch is that easy board game to set up, then the Steam Deck is the Lego set. You dump out the pieces and decide what it's going to be. So yes, both are flexible, but in different ways. The Switch gives you flexibility in how you share it, and the deck gives you flexibility in how you shape it. And once you determine which kind of flexibility matters more to you, the decision hopefully gets a little bit easier. So they don't call these handhelds for no reason. How these systems feel in your hands, though, is more than just about the weight. It's the whole design. The Steam Deck OLED is heavier and bulkier, but surprisingly ergonomic. The grips melt into your palms, the triggers have real depth, and it does feel like something built for long sessions. The trade-off, though, is that it never quite disappears, at least in public. I'll never not feel like I'm unfolding a giant laptop when I'm at work and I'm taking it out of my bag. The Switch 2 is pretty much the opposite. It's lighter, sleeker, and easy to pull out anywhere without announcing it to the whole room. If you've used the original Switch, it is larger, but the difference goes beyond just size. The new magnetic Joy-Cons are a big step up. They're more solid, larger, more reliable, and incredibly satisfying to snap on and off. In regards to the display, it has a 7.9-inch 1080p LCD panel with 120Hz refresh rate and VRR that makes games like Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza pop with energy. The deck's display, meanwhile, makes colors look richer and shadows deeper and whites brighter. It does come in a touch smaller than the Switch 2 at 7.4 inches instead of 7.9, but it's an OLED panel with incredible HDR performance. Play something like Ori and the Blind Forest or Hades 2, and it pulls you in with blacks that feel endless and colors that look painted right on the glass. Though it only tops out at 800p and 90Hz, things still look very bright, smooth, and crisp. So specs and the way it looks and feels and how things are on the outside are one thing, but performance is really about trust. Do you trust the system to run the games you want to play on them and run them well? On the deck, that trust comes with a caveat. For the most part, you'll be adjusting settings. Maybe you turn down shadows in Red Dead to smooth out the frame rate, or tweak resolution scaling in Persona 5 to squeeze more life out of the battery. For a lot of people, especially the PC crowd, that tinkering is the name of the game. It's part of the fun. You feel this complete sense of ownership over how a game looks and plays. Switch 2, on the other hand, doesn't give you that control, but it doesn't need to. You pop in Tears of the Kingdom, and thanks to improved performance and some updates, things just work. There are no menus and no sliders. It may not be the most powerful system, but Nintendo builds games that run beautifully on the hardware that they're designed for. It is worth mentioning, however, that if you're someone who enjoys third-party games, know that while some are getting Switch 2 updates, many are still locked to lower frame rates, and some just plain struggle to run. That's something to keep in mind if you're planning on venturing outside of Nintendo's first-party lineup. Don't buy Mortal Kombat or The Witcher 3 expecting it to be the best version of Mortal Kombat or The Witcher 3. It's just crazy. Now, unless you're docking these things to a TV or a monitor, you're going to want to consider battery life. It's the part of handheld gaming that nobody brags about, but everybody notices. The Steam Deck OLED is still an improvement over the original Steam Deck, but it's still kind of a mixed bag. Play something lightweight like Vampire Survivors, and you'll be set for hours. Fire up something like Red Dead or Cyberpunk, and it's not before long until you're looking for the nearest outlet. The saving grace is that Valve gives you some control over it. You can set individual power draw settings for each game, and you may find that indie games are now sipping battery life instead of chugging. All in all, if you're willing to tinker, you can stretch a lot more life out of it. Tinker, you're sensing a theme here. The Switch 2 doesn't really give you that choice. And in my experience, it doesn't matter whether you're playing a competitive racer like Mario Kart World or something slower paced like Coffee Talk. Great game, by the way. The battery still leaves something to be desired, and this does seem to be kind of a unanimous conclusion, at least on the internet. And maybe this improves later down the road with better game optimization or firmware updates, but for right now, I'm not impressed. I haven't really been naming winners for each of these categories, but for this one specifically, Steam Deck takes it. And when it comes to price, the sticker only tells half the story. The Switch 2 may be cheaper up front, but Nintendo knows exactly what their games are worth. First-party titles rarely go on sale. Breath of the Wild is 8 years old, and it's still $60. And I'm not being salty about it because, to be fair, you know exactly what that higher price tag is going to get you. A solid, smooth, classic Nintendo experience. Now, the Steam Deck OLED costs more at the start, but the ecosystem is what flips the math. The quarterly Steam sales are legendary, where you can find yourself buying a dozen games for the price of one Switch 2 title. And there are plenty of sites like Fanatical with year-round discounts on full game keys, so your library can grow pretty exponentially. And if you subscribe to Game Pass or you already have a large PC library, then the deck just keeps multiplying the value. Regardless, both are going to set you back a fair bit.
500? Did you pay 500 for this? Over 6? Can't be 7. Don't tell me you paid $700 for this jacket.
Just keep in mind the price is about more than just the hardware. It's about how you buy your games and how you value your time and your money.
You are sick! Is that what you paid for this jacket?
The Switch makes you pay for polish, but the deck rewards you for exploration. So there you have it, friends. That was a little breakdown on some things that maybe you want to consider. If you're still on the fence, know this: the internet is an echo chamber. You'll hear glowing praise and harsh criticism about both of these devices. Even my opinion is just another voice in that chorus. And while these opinions can help and it can maybe nudge you in a specific direction, at the end of the day, nobody can tell you which is the right handheld for you. What I, or what the next person values in a handheld, can be different from yours, and that is totally okay. I love my Steam Deck and I love my Switch. None of these are perfect, but you know what? All of them are brilliant. And the best one is the one that makes you want to keep playing. I trust you will make the right decision. Finally, if you clicked on this video because the title says here's the truth, then here's the truth. Handheld gaming has never been better.